Good morning. Cindy Eriks here with Eriks Environmental Consulting in Tallahassee, Florida. I am here to tell you that the animals have been let out of their pen. Now, I know I've said this before, but I get very outraged every single time that I hear another story about a mold remediator doing the wrong thing and taking advantage of people. It's just not right. It's simply not right. I had a situation come to me yesterday, and I can't really give you any great details on it, except for that there are many unscrupulous mold remediators in Tallahassee, Florida, and I'm sure every place in the country, okay, because I've encountered them in Georgia and New Jersey. But they were going out and either doing paid inspections and giving an estimate for remediation, which in Florida is against the law. Or they say, oh, it's a free inspection and here's your estimate for remediation, or you pay for the inspection and we'll take that off your bill when we remediate it. It's all illegal, unethical, obviously. And I'm going to ask you a question. If the person would do that, if they would do that unethical, illegal thing, how good of a job do you think they're going to do on your property? Because that's the second part of what I'm saying. We've gone behind some of these people, and they leave the property worse than it probably was. And I say probably because we didn't do the first inspection, so we can't say for sure. Because their reporting is really poor. The protocol reports aren't real protocol reports. They don't say very much at all. Not enough testing is done to determine what actually is the problem. And when we get some of these jobs where a customer calls us after they've done the remediation and asks us to come out, we actually treat it like a mold assessment, and we make sure we do the testing that we would have done initially, and every single time we find cross-contamination in other parts of the house, especially the HVAC system, which like rarely gets checked by these people, truly checked. They may give the appearance of checked, but we had one yesterday where the person took a piece of tape slide and stuck it on a piece of wood that was next to the air conditioner. Well, that is not a sample that's going to tell you anything about cross-contamination of mold spores into your HVAC system. So anyway, besides them doing that, those illegal, unethical things, they're padding the estimates like crazy. So that situation yesterday, it was probably like $2,000 worth of work, and the estimate was $15,000. There's a saying amongst the unscrupulous: is mold is gold. They want to empty your pockets when they do not need to be emptied. So beware. Like I said, you can't, I'm looking at some notes because I want to make sure I say everything I want to say on this very brief video this morning. By Florida law, you cannot do both on a job. You can't inspect it, assess it, write a protocol for it, and do the remediation. It's not a good idea in any state. It's a conflict of interest. The person is coming in and saying, oh, you have this big bad mold problem, and oh, by the way, we can fix that for you for X amount of dollars. It just leaves a door wide open for the unscrupulous activity. I'm not saying everybody that does that, but so many do, and we hear about it almost daily. And it kind of incites me to riot. I just get really upset about it because people are being taken advantage of. Their good hard-earned money being taken, and then being, the people that come out and do this, they've got so much charisma. So much charisma. They are salespeople through and through. And they will fool the best. I was fooled by one of them for a little while. Really fooled. It hurt me badly when I realized the truth. So just be real careful out there. There's a lot of questions you can ask. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask your assessor even also as to well, why do you write this in your protocol? Why do I have to clean my HVAC system? What's the reason? Tell me about those mold spores. What does that mean? And in all of our reports, we lay it out pretty clear. You can see what's expected in the clearance. On the clearance end of it, you can compare what we expect to find on the clearance versus what is present during our assessment in the laboratory analysis. That gives you a great idea of what we're looking for, okay? Not just an outside sample compared to an inside sample. That's crazy, okay? Because we don't live outside. We have climate control inside. So the outside's going to be different than the inside. And a lot of people will base their tests on, well, it was lower than the outside. Well, heck, decidio spores are really high right now. I'm picking up like 10,000 spores per cubic meter in an outside air sample right now. You want 10,000 decidio spores inside your house? No, you don't. You definitely don't. You probably don't want any more than like 1,000 to 2,000 spores in an air sample, that is, okay? And the air samples are very unreliable. They don't always detect the mold, especially if the mold is attached to things. And you got just a snapshot in time when you're taking those air samples of what the levels are reading, and they're all depending upon outside air, wind speed coming against the building. The building interacts with itself, right? And the wind speed coming from different directions. If you've got mold over here in this cavity and the wind is coming from this way, those pressure changes are going to push the air through the wall cavity into the space too, and make it higher for that time shot. But what about if the air was coming, the wind was coming the other way, during the test? So it's really not very reliable. When it shows up in the sample, it's there, unless somebody fabricates it, which I've seen that also. But you don't know. How do you know? Is it fabricated? Yeah. Well, how I know is I keep seeing the same person with the same kind of stuff every single time, over and over and over again. I'm like, that cannot possibly be. There's no coincidences in this life, really. There are no coincidences. So anyway, I hope this helped today in some way. Just watch out who you hire. Ask questions. Feel free to call us and talk to us about it. Eric's Environmental Consulting, Tallahassee, Florida. IndoorAirQualityMatters.com. We got a bunch of videos there to help you understand things. Our phone number is 850-556-8888. And ask for me, Cindy, Eric, or Clay. Clay answers the phone a lot, and he's a wealth of information also. So God bless you. I hope this helped you today. And my inclination is to say, bind the power of the enemy in Jesus' name, because I love Jesus. And those are enemies out there. So have a great day. Love you and care about you.